Are we up? I do believe we're up and running. Good morning, everybody. Saturday morning here in Asakusa. Looking forward to a very, very busy day here. The weather is medium, not sunny, not rainy. It might drizzle a bit. It's going to be crowded. Yesterday was crowded. Easily. It's the busiest day we've had here in like 3 years. Absolutely. Yesterday the shop was just like pre-pandemic days. All kinds of people crowding through. Busy. Do we have cone alignment? I don't think so. The coffee shop doesn't use cones, so I think that cone has nothing behind it. We can't tell. When we have perfect alignment, you don't know. It's Joni Mitchell. You don't know what you've got till it's gone. Whatever. Okay. Good morning, gang. No, there's no cone behind that one. When we have the camera pointing the other way, we see the cones from the ladies. That's Suga-san coming in. She's printing the Tokaido Tomfoolery bunch, and she's a little bit late because she's doing the first batch, and they're supposed to be ready by November 1st. It's under control. This is an easy one. There's only four colors in this one, so she'll have it done. No problem at all. And also, there's something else different. We've been sending 5 prints per month recently. There was one that was 6, but most of them had been 5. This month is different. There's going to be a thick package coming. Is there a cone in the distance? Okay, whatever. Nothing to do with me. I don't know. Is there one down there? Yeah, there's another cone. Okay. No. Oh, that's to stop. Yeah. That's an interesting cone. That's a don't pee here cone. It's the coffee shop people. What they found is that people, you see the cone in the distance, the one with the red and white stripes on. And it had a sign stuck to it saying, "Don't pee on me" in Japanese. Because the coffee shop people were tired of that corner. Pee didn't matter, but people were making bigger messes there as well. Drunks come out of the hoppidori. 10:30, 11 o'clock. There's no bathrooms up there at all. If you've been drinking in one of these outside places, you're on your own. And there are some public bathrooms here over at the temple, but there's nothing right here. So people come out of that bar street, they've been eating or drinking for a couple of hours, and some of them are in trouble. And there's a little cubby hole there. So the cafe people have put this cone in the way, and it had a little sign on top, stuck to the top, that said, "Don't pee here." The bag lady has. You can see it actually when we have the camera the other way. Remind me about this. Well, we don't need to talk about it. I can see it from here. The bag lady, there's a little entranceway, a little alleyway where the little Jizo statue is, and people do the same thing in there every night. So she has put a sign up that said, that's what alleys are for, I guess. Whatever. I don't know. Our entrance. No, I don't need to talk about it. It's okay. It's okay. It doesn't happen very often, but I can show you. These are public, you know? This is the last group. Those of you who are at the tail end of this is the final group of summer Patreon chibis. There's 95 of them here. They came back from the printer yesterday. They will be going out Monday or Tuesday. So if you're at tail end, if you're at the tail end of the Patreon campaign, if you just joined in the last, whatever it was, X months, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and have been waiting for your summer chibi, they are now ready. And what we'll do is in November, this will go out in October and November, and then starting in December, we switch to the winter chibi. So we run chibis 6 months. The paper is out for 2 people, and they're both up there already. Suga-san is up there. You saw her go in. And Ishikawa-san, what are they printing? Suga-san's printing the ED November series. Yeah, I think Ishikawa-san's doing the same thing. She's on the second group. Her prints are due on the 11th. Oh, and also we've got a batch of the Travelers, which I'm convinced is Don Quixote. Nobody else is going along with me. I don't care, doesn't matter. Who else is it going to be? A donkey and a flat hat. Who else is it? It's the Don. No idea. There they go. Out. Okay, before I get going on today's work, a couple of things. We've got the show and tell at the end of the stream. And recently we've been looking at some of the surimono prints I made. That is going to be interrupted today. We have an actual, there's a package has arrived full of a bunch of prints that Watanabe-san picked up the other day on Yahoo Auctions. And these look like fun. I'm not quite sure what it is. When she showed me the list, I was like, really? What do you think this is? And she's like, no, there's enough good stuff in there that we can use. So we have a package to open, but I'll forget. So if you remind me, please, we can hit that at 9:15. Okay, let's get on with the work. And when I put the block on the table, let's see, who's going to notice what's going on here? Here's the block for carving. Any questions? Those of you who are on the last stream. No red. No zones highlighted. After we finished the last stream, I got busy in the shop. It was crazy, crazy busy in the shop. That was, what was it? That was Thursday. Thursday evening, after everybody was gone home, I sat and looked at that thing. And what I did, I got a measure. I got a tape measure out, a ruler with very, very fine scale. And I measured across all 4 of my dimensions. And as we saw on the stream, when we were pasting it down, as we saw on the stream, they didn't match up closely enough. It was off by about, I don't know, 0.5 millimeter or so, and also at the bottom it was off 0.5 millimeter or so. What I mean is the one that I had pasted down was shorter than this one. It was shorter than this one. So the thing you saw me do yesterday, I took 3. I took one I pasted down, I took another one, 2, I took 3 impressions from the blue block, and one of them I pasted down right away. But during the time when I took the impression, and during the time it got pasted down, I did check for it, but we still saw it, it shrunk. And it shrunk only by about, like I said, 0.5 millimeter or something, but there it was. The transfer sheet was smaller. And it wasn't just moved. If it was moved or twisted, I'm cool with that, because we can move the registration marks anywhere we want. The printers can move it in or move it out. But it wasn't just moved, it was shrunk. So I bailed. I got some water, just put it on there, washed the whole thing off, and I went back to work. These are 2 of the ones that I made. I took 3 proofs in front of you. 1 I pasted down and 2 I didn't. And it was such cold, dry weather that they shrunk like crazy. These 2, which I didn't paste down, have shrunk even more. These are now, no, these are trash. These are garbage. They can't be pasted down. I did a bit of an experiment. I got a damp pack. I got some newspaper, moistened it, put it in plastic. I put these inside there, hoping that just a little bit of moisture would pull them back to the right dimension, and it didn't. It pulled it a little bit that way and a lot this way. These are dead ducks. They're gone, finished, can't be used. They don't even remotely match the registration. So, back to back to square one, cut and run. So what I did the second time round is this. I got some hosho paper, some Kitaro hosho paper, put it in the damp pack, got it damp. I got 3 or 4 sheets of the Gampi paper, put it in the damp pack, got it damp. I got my key block ready, moistened it, got it warmed up, got it ready to go. Prepared stuff, took the Kitaro paper out of the damp pack quickly, sprayed it, put it flat, put the Gampi out, put it flat, printed it instantly without anything, and then I slipped it back in the damp pack. I did that 1, 2, 3 times. So the point being, the paper was already expanded, the same as we do for printing, so it didn't expand or shrink anymore. It was out for a few seconds while it got printed, back in the damp pack. I then got the blank wood, 1, 2, 3, and pasted them straight down. And checking it now, checking it after I was finished, checking it now with the ruler, I can detect no difference. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is as accurate as I can make it. Pre-expanding the paper, that's what we do when we do normal printing, of course, before we start any printing, because the paper would expand when hit with the moisture. We pre-expand it. We normally don't do that for transfers for a couple of reasons. The transfers usually are done from a key block, and the key lines are adding almost no moisture to it. So when we use a dry transfer sheet on the key block, the amount of moisture that goes into it to cause problems is negligible. But this time around, because the area we are transferring is so wide, so much moisture got transferred to those sheets that it made it difficult for me, made it impossible for me. And I maybe should have realized that before I started, but I didn't. Whatever. So there we go. We did the transfer this time with moistened paper. And that has its own risks. If you take it out and leave it a bit too long and wait a little while before pasting it down, it could still shrink and expand. The other downside is that because I did it on moistened paper, bang, bang, go, go, there was no time to make the tracings on here. There was no time to color in which ones were going to be red and which ones are not. So we have to do this now. We have to go back to what we did the other day while you guys were watching, and I have to recreate this. We have to draw on it now. So with your assistance, we will do again what we did on Thursday morning. So I'm saying it doesn't explain the lack of red, because I didn't have any way, I couldn't write on the wet paper, and I didn't want to take the time to write on the wet paper. Just stick it down, bang, and we'll do any writing or drawing now after it has been put down. Okay, I'm talking an awful lot. We're not getting any work done, but anyway, I had to explain what was going on. Is this a question of saru mo ki kara ochiru? Or just simply a bit of bad planning? I don't know. Okay, how are we going to do this? I think I should probably zoom out a bit. You need to re-add the carving line below the hair. We need to re-add the carving line below the hair. No, something else. Let me go backtrack a little bit. My nose is running. What's my nose running? No, I had a second chance. What I did, those of you who don't know what's going on, it turned out that when we were looking at this thing yesterday, it turned out that I had forgotten to carve one place. So what I did yesterday, when I realized I was going to have to go back and do this again, I brought this block out onto my bench and I went through, retouched those areas. I cut that line that I had forgotten the other day. So it's there now, actually. I also looked at it more carefully, found a few places that I thought were a bit too narrow that would cause trouble for the printers. This I should have done before I made the first transfer. So I've gone over this now more carefully under the scope. I've recut that line below the hair. So we don't need to worry about it now. I don't know if you can see it, but there it is. There is the new line that was missing on the first transfers. No line on these old transfers, and there is a line on the new transfer. Kantar's got it. I should have got you there. I should have known Kantar would get it. You're collecting eggs, sir, right? So okay, enough talk. Let's try and replicate what we did the other day. Recognize which zones are going to be level 2. Okay, Vivid got it, okay? I'm sorry. I can't catch everything here. I'm not the organizing who did cut first, whatever. Upside down, back to front. Where am I? Again, my head doesn't work upside down. Right to left, I can handle upside down, back and forth. I don't know. Where am I? 1, 2, 3. It's this one. Someone's asking, what's going to be your unique identifier on this print? I think you're thinking back to when I was talking about when I was making the Surimono albums. I used to hide stuff in there. I used to hide my name and things like that. We don't do that anymore with our Mokuhankan prints. This is actually, it's a licensed reproduction, so we don't need in any way to hide anything. What we're going to do differently from the original is a couple of things. One is we are going to leave off the seal. When this print was first published, it wasn't signed and sealed in the same way as the old ukiyo-e prints were. The signature was in the wood blocks and it was printed, and we will be doing the same thing. But the seal was not carved in the wood blocks. It was actually impressed outside by supposedly Okada-san as he inspected each one. So for our edition, we're going to leave off the seal. Okada-san is dead, he's not inspecting these. Having his signature carved in the block, the same as the old days, is what we will do. That's one thing different from ours from the previous one. The second one is we are a tiny bit, I believe we are about 3 millimeters smaller than the original one. I'm not 100% sure about that because I've never seen an original one in the flesh. I've only seen reproductions of it and descriptions of it. So the point being that ours it'll be able to differentiate ours and the original one. But also it's 50, 60, 70 years different, so the paper is changed, of course. There really are some that are so vague. Is it level 2 or level 3? This is 4 and 3. That's got to be 2. 4, 3, that's 2. Oh, no, got the wrong one. Wrong one. Just a minute. Wrong one. That's out. Now. It's the one below it. Okay, sorry to ignore you here, excuse me. I'll show you in a minute. Let me just go through it first to try and catch the ones I can see. Then I will show you zone by zone, because I need your help in catching things. So just give me a sec here. This is first pass here, and I will ask your help in a minute. So just one sec. I think that could be zone 3, I don't know. Okay, let me try and get it so you can see it. Let's do this zone by zone. How are we going to do this? There's 4 levels. We can see them here. There's the level of the base that's in the corner. Then this is level 2, and that's the one we're trying to identify now. So level 2, we have it clearly here, here, and here. That's level 3. That's level 1. So this is 2, 2, down to 1, up to 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3. Two, 3, 2 comes down to the top, including the tip. 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3. This must be 2, 2, 2, 1. We've left out the 1. Two, 2, 2, 3. Okay, that one is indeterminate. Is this a 1? What's a 3? Is this one? Is it a 1 or a 2? And I don't know. I think it's a 2. It's really tough. I think it's a 2. That's a 1. Then a 2, 2, 2, 3. The rest are 2s. 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, and they go on. And up at the top here, this is a 1 and a 1. That's a 2. Then over at the side, that's a 1. This is a 2. That's a I don't know what that is. That's a 1. That's a 2. Maybe this is 2 and 3. Let's put this in. And that little one, we'll take it out. That'll be a 3. So we'll put that in and take that one out. Then coming down to the bottom here, as we come around, not that bottom, this bottom, as we come down to the bottom of the print, this is a 1, and I don't know what this is. Is this a 2 or a 3? I think it's a 2, which I've put it in. This is a 1, and we talked about this yesterday. Some of these at the bottom may be a 2. We're not going to carve a separate block. We're going to leave them and maybe do a bit of gradation up from the bottom. So I'm going to leave them as 1s. This one as well. Almost certainly this is a 2. We can never get the registration if we try and do that. So I'm going to leave it as a 1 and do gradation. Coming around to the back corner, these are 4 and 3, 4 and 3. This is our first 2, which I've got. Then our next 2 is here, which I've got. So I think now, we may have it. Just check that corner again. That one is one, 2, 3, 2, 1. Yes, we've got those. This is 2. Tip of the surfboard is 3. No, I've got it marked there, but it's coming out. Below it is 2. That's 2. And this is also, that's 4, 3, 2. This one is also 2, and I've got that. Above it is 3. I think we're good to go. I think we're good to go. As usual, we try and make an error in the direction that we can fix. In other words, if I take something off here that should be there, that's trouble because I can't recreate it. But if I leave one on, this one that I said no, if I actually did carve it and leave it here and we don't want it later, we can carve it off. So as I'm chopping with my knife here, I'm going to keep that in mind. If I'm really not sure, leave it on. We can take it later. If I'm really confident, take them away. So what we're going to do now is, for those of you who are still not quite sure what's going on here, did I catch the 2 bits under her arm in the central island? Well, I've got 1 bit under her arm in the central island. Do we need to have a look at this? In the central island here, let's zoom in, make sure we've got what's going on here. Let's recap. This is a 2, the one that's in front of her face is a 2. It comes around her breast, it goes under her arm. I think it's this. So that one matches this. So that should be a 2. That's a 3 beside it, and I think that's a 3, and that's a 3. And that's a 4. So it's 4, 3, 2, 3, 3. Oops, says he off camera. The 2 comes in and matches this little one, because the one below it is this thing. That's a 4, that's a 3, that's a 2 and a 3 and a 3. I highlighted the wrong one on the block. This little one is the 2. And I think that's what I've got on the block. Oh yeah, you're right, I highlighted the wrong one. Eggs, eggs, who gets the egging for this? I lost my marker. My marker is gone. Grab another one. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I get by with a little help from my friends. It's so easy to make mistakes, you know. It's so easy. I gotta say, I don't know how many prints I've made. Thousand prints, whatever. Not 1,000 different prints. Thousands of prints, but how many different prints I've made, I don't know. Many hundreds by now. And yeah, I've made this kind of mistake many times. It's really easy to do. Especially when you're boogieing along, you know, boogie, where you go, looks okay, bang. The biggest problem with this kind of mistake is what happens when you finish carving. You've got all your sets, you do the printing, and there's one area of the block that is a big white open space because that area is not on any block. Now on this one, actually, there's going to be lots of white. Her skin is not going to have a block. It'll be the white paper, and the foam here will be the white paper. So this isn't the kind of print that's going to have an unexpected little white spot. But yes, good catch. Thank you very much. And now we can get to work. And I got to be careful. We talked about this yesterday. This job actually now is not a trivial job. The carving on this block now is actually extremely, what's the word? It has to be extremely precise. For those of you who are just joining this, we're doubling up on colors here. There's going to be one block for the lightest, for all the blues. One block will be the visible lightest blue, and it's an undertone for all the other blues. So this is the blue block to rule them all. Then on top of this will be a block for number 2, the one we're going to do now. There will be a separate block for number 3 and a separate block for number 4. And they have to line up exactly. Another alternate way of doing this would be carve one block just for the light tones, number 1, a totally separate block for number 2, no overlap, totally separate block for 3, and another block for number 4. That has its own problems. You don't have the problem of carving the same zone twice, but your registration then becomes absolutely crazy trying to get these slots looking the same. The easier way to do it is to do one base for them all, do an accurate transfer, do an accurate cut, and then the printer knows where they stand, and they've got to do their delicate adjustment to get them lined up. Let's put knife to wood here. And I think I'll pull in the scope to give me accuracy and also so that I can get the camera location for you guys. Let's do this. If I'm going to work here, that means the camera has to be here. Every single day of my life, I move that zoom the wrong way first. Okay, let's start there. Someone's saying, speaking of the white of the paper, do you select especially good sheets for prints with lots of empty space? Yes and no. The paper is also bad these days. There really is no chance to do this. If I went through the paper stack looking for ones with no chili, I'm not going to find any. So there's sort of no point to try to filter the paper. Having said that, the printer will do this. When the printer gets ready to finally start printing this, we do have a situation where there's an important white area, her body. So what the printer will do is when she's got her stack of paper ready, before moistening it, she will look at each one, and she may do this. She may hold up the sheet of washi together with this little sample sheet. Hold them up to the light so she can see the face area and she can see her washi. And if there's specifically bad chitty in the face or the thigh or something that's going to really be visible, she will turn that sheet of washi upside down, because it might turn out then that the chitty goes into a place where it's not visible. So she sends it through upside down. Doesn't matter, there's no orientation on the paper that way. And if there's a piece of chitty that is bad, upside down is bad, yes, she will pull that sheet out of the stack, or she will put it in her stack at the very top so that it becomes one of the test sheets. The first sheets are never going to be any good anyway, so if you've got bad chitty, throw them into the top of your stack so they get used as test sheets. So yes, it is a factor. We can't cull them all because the paper is so bad. But in the case of a bijinga or a place where there's a face and a especially important area, we do check for chitty first. Wrong zoom. I don't know, I should put just a note up there or something, you know. It's because I'm both. I'm doing it from the front of the camera and it's mirrored. Anyway, whatever. Let's get some work done. 8:38. 38 minutes, and finally we can put a knife to wood. I hear the crows. I guess, are they active today? What day is it today? Saturday. Yesterday was a garbage day. Today there's no garbage out there. But there will be lots of people. There will be lots of street food. Lots of people will be eating the fried food that they sell down the street. So there will be quite a fair amount of food scattered around the town today on the weekend. As soon as I start carving, after the initial talking and explaining and settling down and carving, that's the point where my brain tick, 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 tick. What was I supposed to talk about on the stream today? There's always these notes. There's a few things I'm supposed to mention. So no sooner do I shut up and start work than the impulse comes to, oh yeah, I've got to explain this. I've got to say something about such and such to the stream. And now that I've remembered it, I've got to put it in. I got a message the other day. This is a couple of weeks ago when we switched to this mic setup. Somebody posted this here. I'll just pass it on. This is a post from somebody in Australia. This is not my comment. This is a post that came in to me. And whether this is of interest or knowledge or useful to any of you, I don't know, but I just pass it on for what it's worth. I myself don't have gear like that, so I can't test it myself. This is the same person in Australia who was talking about the question the other day if the printers should be making prints that all look exactly the same. So. crows are going nuts out there. What's going on? Is there a war on? So something about the parrots, and I'm curious. This, yeah, of course, I don't know what's going on, but we've got this ongoing story in Tokyo. Apparently, I'm not hip to the latest news on this, but there is an ongoing story in the Tokyo metropolitan area of a species of parrots that has invaded certain parts of the town. And I believe at the moment it was mostly over in Shibuya or some area over there. I don't know the details. And I guess the authorities have been tracking these birds bit by bit, and they're coming eastwards across town. And I guess they're into the same habitat as the crows. And it seems that there's bird wars wherever they're interfacing. And I haven't seen these yet. I don't know any more details about it. You could Google for it if you like it. Parrot invasion of Tokyo or whatever. So at some point they're going to hit this area, I suppose. So about the angle is generic. We can't cut straight up and down for the most part. That makes it much more difficult to brush the pigment out. The angle, really, it's not scientific. It's just the angle that's the natural angle of my hand as I do this. It wouldn't be 45. I don't know what it is. It's not something we need to overthink. It's just an angle. If I was pointing directly towards the camera, you tell me 40 degrees, 35 degrees? I don't know. It doesn't really matter as long as there is some kind of angle there. So the angle is just right. Aren't any crow wars out there? Didn't quite cut that deep enough. This block is going to take a day or two, and I guess that too, I should maybe mention that. Progress on this surfer print then. Now that we've got these color separations laid down, my focus on carving work actually now has to change. I'm doing this here this morning because I need content for the stream, but actually Dave's work in the next few weeks now is not going to be this surfer. I'm going to put it aside. I've now started work on the next video, and the next video is the video that is going to announce next year's series. And in order to do this, I have to get started on the carving of that, and in order to do that, I have to get started on the tracing. Next year's series is going to involve a lot of preparation, a lot of preparation work before we can do a carving. And a lot of that's going to involve tracing. And I don't know how much of that I can do on stream. I tried before when I was doing the octopus. I think I tried doing some tracing on stream by tying my iPad together with the MacBook. And maybe we'll do some of that, I don't know. But the thrust of my own work, other than the shop work now, I'm the main person in the shop. My own main work now is going to be tracing, carving, and video on next year's series. And the video should be ready. It will need to be ready, I think, in the first week of November. I've mentioned this before. We normally announce our new series at the end of December, near the end of December. That's not going to happen this year. We're going to announce it much, much earlier because we need to do a lot more work in public on what it's going to be. Are painters concerned about how their designs would be carved or printed? Would they change something if it's harder or possible? The answer to that is going to vary over the years. Whether it's a contemporary design that's being cut and printed or whether it was the old days. In the old days, it was more generic. Designers would draw their kabuki scene with the knowledge of how it was going to be made. So they would draw something that fit the technology. If they had drawn something that had lines that were too fine, the carvers wouldn't carve them that fine. Or the other way around. The designer could just put a blur here. That's where I want the hair, you guys. And the carvers would go and carve all the individual hairs. So the designer knew exactly what was going to be happening at the next stage. These days, it's a different story. In our case, where I get designs from Jed Henry, for example, he has a pretty good knowledge of how printmaking works, but he's not here at the bench. So sometimes he sends stuff that we can't do, or he has something that he didn't design that we know we could put in there. So there's feedback. We would call him or show him or tell him or ask him to change this. Hey, can we do this instead? Or we can't do that. And Jed, of course, he's always cool with this. Okay, guys, yeah, I'll do whatever you like. And so it's a vague, not specifically one answered type question. Very much case by case. But to get a good woodblock print, you need a designer who, of course, understands as much as possible about the technology and what's possible and what's not possible. Do you have an example of a situation where woodblock has its limits? I'm not sure what to say. You know, at its base, Japanese woodblock medium is flat color. It's lines. We can make key block lines, and the rest of it at its base is flat color. We can do a little bit of gradation and stuff like that, but it's a flat graphic art at its base. So the common sense thing to do is you choose art and designs and whatever that matches the physical medium. I know, again, I don't have examples to physically show, but if you were trying to replicate a photograph, for example, with the complete three-dimensional modeling and gradations of everything, you know, if you're trying to do a realistic photograph, it wouldn't work because it doesn't match the woodblock medium. So there's a million things that can't or shouldn't or don't make sense to do as woodblocks. Too much modeling, too much shading doesn't work. Detail beyond what the wood could carve wouldn't work, you know. There's the different mediums that have different appearances. Screen printing or woodblock printing or offset printing, they're just all going to be different. I did mention before there was that experiment or show off that was created by the Takamizawa company back in the pre-war period. Takamizawa was a forgery company originally. They changed to doing reproductions in the 1920s and 30s and so on. And one of the things they used to do back in the 1920s and into the 30s, I believe, was they made reproductions of famous paintings. And among those, they did a reproduction of a Cézanne watercolor painting. It was quite a small painting. I think about yay size, a Cézanne watercolor, some flowers and blurry stuff, whatever. And as sort of an experiment and something to show off the fact that the Japanese woodblock could replicate anything, in theory, they made a reproduction of this watercolor painting. And they made it to a microscopic level of accuracy. And I saw an exhibition of that when I first came to Japan. It would have been in 1979 or 1980. The set of blocks and the picture were on exhibition in a hall. It was at the Rikka Museum in Yuracho. And only one print was in the exhibition. You went in the door and you walked around and around and around. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. At the end of the long hall was the two things side by side. A little tokonoma with the print and the Cézanne original side by side. And they weren't labeled. And this was the big deal. You couldn't tell which was which. So yeah, you can, in theory, if you're willing to spend enough time and take the trouble and carve a bajillion blocks, you can sort of replicate anything. But it didn't make any sense. It wasn't right, it didn't make any sense, and it certainly wasn't economical. I don't remember my reaction. It's too many years ago. I don't know. Did I think, wow, cool? Or did I think, what the hell are these guys doing? I don't know. Back then, I was probably pretty easily impressed by stuff, so maybe I thought it was pretty hot. I don't know. No idea. Oh, Ishikawa-san, good morning. I thought you're upstairs. Ishikawa-san, ちょっといい？6時半ぐらい、紙を出すために3階上がったんですが、2階から3階行くところに、誰がゴミ袋を用意して、3階のゴミ、で金曜日出せなかったらなぜかわからないですけど、
昨日だよ、昨日用意したのね。それで渡辺さん。
夜の間に、そう。だ僕ごめん、その朝の方に片付ける時間がなかったんですから、まだ置いときますから。そう。多分この中に、匂いがあったものが、食べ物があったかわからないですから。バーじゃなくて、とりあえずティッシュみたいなものが。申し訳ない、これから片付きますから。
いや、本当。
そう。
すごいね。
今日何 ED ですか？11月の ？Okay, thank you very much. Who's got the story? Kantar, are you up enough? Who can translate the story? No, I had to tell her because if she goes upstairs and sees this, it's going to be Kantar's sleeping, so who can get this story? I thought we had more Japanese speakers or Japanese understanders on this stream. Everybody got it? You got the right words. There is garbage involved. There is a mouse involved. So, someone's asking Chiro Obata. Yeah, I'm not really familiar. I've seen it. In fact, I think you have recommended it on this stream before, and we've looked at it. Yes, it's, as I remember, it's another one of these very blurry images that require multiple passes to make it look like a watercolor painting. So, am I fluent in Japanese? I'm fluent in normal daily conversational Japanese. I can give speeches and presentations. I can handle this stuff. I can get in over my head very quickly. If we want to go to a university seminar and talk about deep philosophy, I will be in trouble because my Japanese won't carry me to those kind of nuances. But daily conversation, to tell the lady that, by the way, the garbage bag that she left there the other day, the mice got at it last night and there's garbage strewn all over the floor. And I didn't have time to clean it up this morning because I was getting ready for the stream. That level of conversation I can handle. So, Dave can talk about garbage and mice, but he can't talk about philosophy. How much language do you need to know? Well, what's involved in your daily life, whatever. So. No, I'm fine with daily stuff. My pronunciation is sometimes a bit cringe-worthy when I hear a video or a tape or see something on TV and watching me speak. I realize that I keep forgetting the rule. I keep forgetting to try and repress my Western emphasis on syllables. And I keep doing that in Japanese, and it makes my Japanese pronunciation somewhat cringe-worthy. when I hear it, I think, oh my God, Dave, after 40 years, why can't you remember that basic rule, you know? Remove the verbal emphasis. It's not there in Japanese anywhere to the extent that it is in English. But it's programmed into the damn DNA, I'm sure of it. Well, it's not, but you know what I mean. So if I was a really good language student, I would have had that beaten out of me by now, and I would speak Japanese with much less strange accent. But things are what they are. Do I worry about pitch? There's the garbage, the vegetable man. There isn't much pitch in Japanese. There is some pitch in Japanese, but to the extent that we see it in a language like Chinese, not at all. You could be tone deaf and you can speak Japanese quite right. We've chatted about this before. If the Japanese people are having trouble understanding what you're saying and you've got the words right, almost certainly it's because your intonation is too much up and down. You're emphasizing words and you shouldn't do that. So if you're having trouble, the Japanese person is like, I'm having trouble understanding you, switch to robot mode. Try and speak like this as a robot. It sounds really strange in English, but when you're speaking Japanese, it sounds just fine. Switch to that mode. Take out any emphasis, take out any intonation, and they will understand you 1,000 times better. I struggle with tonal inflection when I've tried to speak Japanese. Then erase it. I mean, there is tonal inflection. Then when the conversation gets deep, they will happily try and explain to you the difference between the words hashi and hashi, bridge and chopsticks. But in normal communication, when you're reaching across the table to pick something up, you know you're not picking up a bridge. Everybody will get it. So just remove your inflections, remove your emphasis, and you will be 1,000% understood. And whether you might consider that to be dumbing down the language, that's up to you. In my position, I'm not studying it. I'm not looking to pass the Japanese language proficiency tests. I simply want to talk and communicate to people and run my business. I'm 70, 71 years old. I'm not going to be increasing my level of Japanese. So for me, I want pragmatic, simple, understandable language. So some of you out there hearing me say, forget the intonation, Dave, they're upset about me. I'm speaking from my own point of view and my own needs and requirements. If you're really young and you're going to be doing this for many decades and you really want to get deep, yeah, play with those things. But at a practical, pragmatic, you're a tourist or you're someone like me, erase that stuff. Don't think tones, inflections at all. And you will be completely understood by everybody. What did I say then? As I was talking about that language thing, I think it slipped out of my mouth. I was talking about my age and stuff like that, and I guess it has now started. What did I say? I said I'm 70, 71, and that's it. It's coming up next month. So I've been always, over the past X years, I've always cheated. I've gone in advance of my age. I don't want the shock of the new number coming. So even though my birthday isn't until next month, I'm already starting to say 71. Trying to get used to it. 71. Ah! Lots of language students here, of course, I guess. Yeah, no, if you're younger, go for it. Serious, go for it. Study, study, listen, listen, listen. So I'm entering the 72nd year of my life next month, next month, next month. It's a month away yet. You got to rewire your brain. Yes, I know this is a thing, you know. Rewire your brain is just a part of it. You become a different person, and I am now after being in Japan for 36, 37 years, whatever. I realized this many years ago. I am a different person in the two languages, absolutely. If a Japanese customer comes in the shop and I speak to them in Japanese, I move in a certain way, I hold my hands in a certain way, I stand a certain distance from them. Everything, you behave, it's not just the words are in Japanese, your behavior is Japanese. And 5 minutes later, a Westerner comes in and I'm doing this and doing that and chatting, making a joke and insulting their clothing or something. You become a different person in the two languages, absolutely. And at the beginning I didn't get this. I maybe knew about it intellectually but didn't know what to do. But now, X% of the day, I will think in Japanese. I can be walking down the street on my way to get lunch and the thoughts that are coming through are in Japanese. Not 100% all day, every day. It goes back and forth and back and forth. And most of my inner life is in English, but now and then it switches to Japanese. And you are a different person, absolutely. It overlaps, like even in English we do this when you're talking to the boss in your company or when you're talking to somebody else or your wife or whatever, you have different phrases and you behave differently because we have social interactions at different levels. That's the same in any culture. And in Japanese we have the same thing. When I'm speaking to Ayano-san or whatever, or a customer, I speak differently, of course. So within each language itself there are the differences and different interactions. But the big one is between the two languages. My hands will move a different way, and you will stand a different distance from people. Do I dream in Japanese or English? I don't really know. I would guess English probably, because that's the real fundamental base, but I don't remember dreams. I don't know. I used to say, I don't dream, but the researchers tell us we all do. It's just simply Dave doesn't remember his dreams. Never, not one day in 100 do I remember. I wake up and whatever. I think that's good. I think it's an indication that I'm living vividly and sleeping deeply. So I don't remember the dreams because I guess none of them are happening in that sort of half-awake time frame. So I guess they're there, but I really don't know about them. It's strange to me. So I don't know. Do I dream in Japanese or English? I don't know. I'm so dead to the world at night. I just no idea. Are we okay for show and tell? We're okay, right? Oh, 11, soon, coming up soon. So. As I said earlier, we have a little bit of I was going to say a different show and tell. No, it's actually a normal show and tell. What we've been doing in recent days and weeks here is we've been having a bit of a different show and tell. Today we're going to have a classic show and tell. We're going to open something, and I'm not actually completely sure what we're going to see. I saw the auction photograph, so I have an idea of some of the stuff that's in there, but there's also, it's a grab bag today. some dealer has got a bunch of leftover prints. He really didn't know what they were or what they were going on. It was probably a dealer who sells regularly this and this and this and this and this. So today he's got a grab bag. He just dumped some stuff, didn't know how to describe it, didn't know what they were, so just put them up. Winner takes all, whatever. And Ayano-san saw some prints in there that she knows and she thinks will be very, very useful in the flea market. So we'll find out. Junk or treasures, I don't know. These in-between areas here, you know, if they're fairly shallow, I got to get the crap out, because if it's deep enough, it's okay. But if it's a little bit shallow, I've got to get the leftover wood out, because easily pigment can build up in these little narrow places. And as you know, this one, for example, carving right now, it's going to be printed twice, you know, once on the base block and once on here. So it's double trouble for building up tamari or building up pigment in places it shouldn't be. So I've got to be super careful here to make sure I get everything out of there. That's out, this is in. So the crows seem to have finished their war, did they? It's been quiet now out there for X minutes. How's our time? 15. Okay, we're there. Okay, let's have a look at the package. I want to zoom out. I push my finger left or I pull my thumb right. I want to zoom out. I pull my thumb right to zoom out. Pull my thumb right. After 45 years, to zoom out, pull my thumb. You can help me with this. To zoom in, push my finger left. To zoom out, pull my thumb right. Help me get this. Zoom in, push in. What does that mean? I'm not pushing either way. I'm pulling with my thumb. Don't confuse me. Don't confuse me. Your thumb is the zoom out, finger is zoom in. That's maybe the way to remember this. Okay, enough. Let's look at the prints. No green tape. I think somewhere. I know somebody stole all the green tape in Japan. I don't know what happened to it. We still use it here at Mokuhankan, but auction people do not seem to be using green tape anymore. Oh, that game is gone. There's no more garbage can there. That garbage can, which was right there, is in the way for people in the shop. So it's history. So the garbage can used to be right imaginary basket. I don't know. Okay, we have a real grab bag. It's gonna, let's have a look and see what's inside here. We have a real grab bag. It's junk and treasures mixed together. Next level of tape. Maybe I can get into it by 9:30. That's all, folks. See you next week. So big tape, small tape. And another basket right in. Ho, ho, ho. Okay, how are we going to attack this? No idea. Let's just try pulling out pieces of paper one at a time. It really is going to be junk and treasures. Zoom out, thumb, pull out. Yes, got it. Okay. It really is junk and treasures. We may not have time to look at all of it. Let's just dig in from the top and see what's here. Step one, it looks like a page torn from one of those kimono catalogs. It is indeed a woodblock print. A lot of this stuff will not be prints, actually, I think. I'm not sure. First guess is it's a page torn from a kimono catalog, but I'm not really sure. It's got a poke hole at the top. I don't see any bindings. Let's just have a look at it. It's a kimono pattern book for sure. This is Antiques Roadshow. It is indeed a woodblock print. Key block and color blocks. It's very much Kyoto style. These are all super opaque pigments. The white is an opaque pigment with holes cut out of it. And there's some kind of metallic pigment. This looks like bronze powder. And we have a style of calligraphy here that I'm not going to be able to read for you. I'm sorry. This is all older characters that I cannot read. I am sorry. Maybe Kantar can help with this. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. Interesting enough for what it is. Kimono pattern book page. More opaque stuff. This may be a package of prints that came from Kyoto. A small, simple print. Again, opaque pigments. Absolutely opaque. It's the kind of stuff that people use, also hobbyists use this kind of stuff. You tell me, what do we have? A nice little flower image. No name, no brand, no nothing. But it is a woodblock. Very thick opaque pigment. Almost like it was painted on. Oh, look at this. What is this? What is this? Okay, we've got, it looks like some kind of a proof sheet. It is woodblock. It's actually a woodblock print. I have no idea how on earth they did this gray stuff at the bottom here. The main parts of the design here, the flower parts and the bird images, this is woodblock. It's printed thick, pasty, opaque prints with opaque woodblock. Really huge amounts of tamari. Someone has scribbled some comments on here. Make that cream. Make that usku. Make this more turn the blue green to make it more delicate. So it's a proofing copy, and somebody has written comments on about it. But I have no idea what they've done here, how they've done this. And in fact, on the back, we see rubbing on the back for the bird. For the red parts here, it's rubbed on the back with a barum. For this shaded place here, there's no rubbing on the back whatsoever. Nobody has printed that part. So I think this is, somebody has just brushed this on. It's a proof copy of a woodblock print, but I have no idea how they were going to do this. Not a clue. Not a clue. Oh, these. Jackpot. Jackpot. These are nice. We have some of these. In fact, the series as a whole, we've seen some of this on a previous show and tell. This is from a set of 57 woodblock prints depicting chapters of the Genji story, the Genji Monogatari. I have this upstairs already in a nice, neat, clean copy. This is a Kyoto publication. Oh, I don't know. We've got the information upstairs. 1920s or 1930s, pre-war for sure. Very, very super thick paper. You could not imagine printing on this here in Tokyo. But it's a woodblock. Very heavy, dense, thick cardboard type paper. You can see the baron marks. If I move it around, you can see bit by bit as they come under the light, you can see the striations. So you can see it there. There are you? This is the baron mark. Chong, 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 chong. The paper was thick, rich and heavy. The pigments are all thick, pasty, opaque pigments. And it's woodblock. It's all carved on woodblock. Look at the gradations. How many gradations? You count them. For me, there's the green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then they go back and do a different block for the orange. The number of impressions is incredible. Gradations inside the different levels of the scarecrow hut. I mean, give me a breath of the lamp there. Gradations coming up here, 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 here. All printed separately. This set of prints is just an incredible, incredible masterpiece. Who's this? Oh, it's Nagazawa-san, 9 o'clock. Oh, it's 9:30. Yeah. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I have to run to the bathroom.
You're live on TV, so be careful. Yes, so this is cool, and because we have this set already in our collection, this will go through to the flea market. I think this is why Watanabe-san wanted to grab these, and she said there's a whole bunch in here, and there are. Oh, we're not going to get through this. I'm going to save a bunch of these for tomorrow, for next time. Let's just look at a couple more. Look at this. Come on, come on, come on. Jackpot today, jackpot. And if somebody's asking, over the blank space of the print, this last one, there is no blank paper visible. If you look up at the edge here, this is the blank paper. Zoom in, I push. I got this. There's the blank paper. It's toned and faded a little bit. Everything you see white here is printed white, printed white, printed white. Again, thick. Oh, what have we got? These are proof. This deck must have come from a printer's workshop. Look, we saw before, it's a proof copy with notes, what to do, make this more cream, make this more thin, blah, 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 blah. Look at this copy. It's, well, it's not, I'm talking to the stream, we're live, just so you know. Come and say hello if you want. Come on back. Okay, these are proof copies, because what we've got here, if we look at the back, the key block, the key block is also printed here on the back. So this is just a junk piece of paper. They've gone ahead and they're doing it. And so we can see the actual key by itself here. And the printer slipped. Look. It's one here, but the paper slipped and he got everything else fuzzy. What you're seeing here is not defocus, it's printed twice.
I see.
Yeah, I'm chatting with these people. I'm explaining to what's going on up there. Not so much here. Very nice, very nice. And there you are. So that's a chance to see the actual key block separate before you put colors on for something like this. So there you are. You can see the little lantern. And there's the key block lines for the trees. So these dark lines, not even on the key block. Look at that. There's nothing up there. That mountain, none of that is on the key block. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Getting older woodblock prints is all well and cool, but when we get woodblock prints that are not finished, or that came from a workshop, or that have problems, or that have something wrong with them, this really, really, really helps us figure out how these things were made. Because sometimes the reverse engineering is just insane. Same designer as the Genji prints. If you mean Okada Yosho, the guy who's done our surfer, not at all. This is a generic kind of painting done in the early 20th century. Yeah, thanks, Nagasawa-san. I didn't have a chance to clean up yet, so thanks. Okay, this bag, oh my God, this bag is going to be full of treasures, full of treasures. Let's look at one more. Oh, I mean the Genji print that I showed, yeah, I think it's exactly the same. Same workshop, same style, same printing, same everything. Exactly, same paper, no question. This one doesn't have a specific Genji mark, but it's the same type of print, exactly. It's the same thing. Look, we have no, we have koku. Make it more deep here. These are proof copies from the printer that the publisher or somebody or designer has scribbled on.
Oh, yeah.
X, take this off. Maybe they got rid of the background color. I have no idea. X, take this off. He's bought here this purple. Is that where the arrow's going? The purple, he wants it deeper. It says koku.
And there's also
What do we hear? Taka, what nani? Sumizuki sugiru. Kurosugiru. There we have it. The taka, the eagle, or whatever the bird is too dark. Interesting, interesting, interesting. I mean, we ourselves have millions of sheets of paper like this. Upstairs right now, today, Sugu-san this week has been test printing the Tokaido prints. She makes some test prints, then she scribbles notes on, brings it to me, I scribble some more notes on. And we have papers like this all over the workshop. And most of them actually, once we're done, they just sort of disappear and float their way into the garbage because we don't need it anymore. So it's very, very, very rare for stuff like this to get preserved. I mean, am I going to learn any earth-shaking revelations from the fact that somebody wrote koku on here? No, but just to see the process happening and to see the test prints is really informative. So I don't have the final version of this. I do have the final version of that Genji print we showed, but I've never seen this one before. Lots of bling. X. What do you think the X? He's saying get rid of the background color, do you think? I don't know. No idea. Someone says, I don't want to be disrespectful, but this print is all over the place. It is indeed all over the place. That's the style. These Kyoto prints that are picking up images from the Heian era they're bling, bling, and they're all over the place. And also, too, I would guess, remember, we're seeing a print that isn't finished, so the color balance is perhaps strange. the design. I think it's not a good design. You can't even see it. You wouldn't even notice there's a bird there. If you first look at this, you wouldn't notice that there's a bird there because the shape of the bird has been disguised. So is this great art? Not claiming it at all. No idea. Okay, I know, there's no way, it's crazy for me. There's going to be 30 prints in this package. So let's, at the moment, let's put it aside. I'll have a look through and we'll see what we can show in the next show and tell and look and see. But for the moment, I've got to cut it there because it's now 9:32 and Nagasawa-san and I have to get this shop open by 10 o'clock. So I'm checking out for now. See you again in 2 more days, probably with more carving work on this block, or perhaps with tracing on next year's series, which is going to be announced quite soon. Let's pop up the outside. Quiet day, but it's going to be very, very, very busy. Okay, thanks guys. See you in a couple of days. Thanks very much, and I'm going to have a read through the chat with my lunch. Bye for now.